Hey guys, this is Andrew from Joinica.com, and I'm taking a look at the big boy, the brand new phone that everyone's going to be talking about for the rest of the summer, the Samsung Galaxy S3. Now, as the 3 implies, this is the third edition of Samsung's flagship Android phone. Ooh, and I'm knocking it off the stand already. But that's okay, because this is a tough phone. It's got Corning Gorilla Glass 2 on the front, so it's reinforced glass. The back is admittedly plasticky. It's got that typical Samsung plastic feel. So it's not going to feel premium or top of the line in terms of build material, but it will be durable because we've seen Samsung's plastics stand up over there in the past. On the side, you got this little curved lines that trick your eye into making it seem slimmer, just like the Galaxy Nexus has. On the front, unlike the Galaxy Nexus, you actually have a menu button, a home button. And also you have menu on the left hand side, and you've got a back button on the right hand side. These only pop up when you ask for them. They do illuminate, but there are settings that allow you to turn that off. Just so you get an idea of the size of the phone, let's compare it to the Galaxy Nexus. As you can see, the Samsung Galaxy S3 has a bigger screen. It's a 4.8-inch Super AMOLED screen. It's got the Corning glass, like I mentioned. But the nice touch is that it has very thin bezel. So when you go to the edge of the phone, your finger sort of just slides off because it's kind of curved and it's very thin to begin with. So you're not really feeling that abrupt end, like I've reached the end of the phone. It's sort of like a waterfall effect that they mentioned. It's really nice. When you look at them from the back, you can kind of see that the Galaxy S3 is slightly taller and it's slightly wider. It's not pushing Galaxy Note territory, but this is a big phone. On the sides, it's actually 8.6 millimeters. So it's a little thinner than the Galaxy Nexus Verizon version, but they both got the same part right here where you see this line is defined and it curves to sort of trick your eye into thinking that it's smaller than it is. But when you hold it, it doesn't feel clunky or big or anything like that. It does feel large in terms of height, but as far as depth goes, it's not out of control at all. Okay, I mentioned having a lot of storage. Now, when it comes to files on your phone, you're going to get 16 gigabyte or 32 gigabytes internally, depending on which model or carrier you end up getting. If that's not enough space for you, there is a micro SD slot on the back, so you can get an additional 32 gigabytes of storage. As you notice right here, it's got the Samsung NFC sticker on the battery. So yes, you will be able to use Google Wallet or Android Beam, Samsung Beam, which I'm going to show you in a little bit. Also, speaking of the battery, it's got 2100 milliamps of power. Now, I haven't been able to really fully test it because I haven't had the phone for as much as a week, and I think you need to go through a week of actual testing and running it up and down to see how well it's going to perform. But so far, it's been doing good. Early signs point to yes. Follow up in the link below with when the full review is up, that you'll be able to get more information on how the battery performs. As far as the internal specs, you get a lot with this phone. It has a 1.5 gigahertz dual-core processor. It's running Qualcomm instead of the Exynos, which is quad-core. But that's because in order to get 4G compatibility in the US, they had to do it that way. They're using AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, and Verizon. Exynos is not compatible with any of their 4G networks at the moment, so all the carriers opted to future-proof their devices and get the Qualcomm. You're not really missing much. As far as performance goes, this thing really zips along. I haven't had any issues with it running apps. As you can see, it pretty much flows through the launcher buttery smooth. All of the apps load quickly. It has 2 gigs of RAM, and I know that sounds like a lot of RAM, and it is. Not all of it will be available to you. Like, I've had apps running all the time, and it only uses up 800 MB, and I'll still have another 800 left over. So there's a lot of free memory that you're always going to have. Like at the moment, I'm using 897 MB, and I've got 760 free. So I've been having parts where I've had Pocket Cast open, I've been tweeting, I've been downloading files, I've been browsing on Google+. I've been playing games. There's lots of things. You're not going to really run into issues as far as performance goes. Without getting into all the benchmark crap, this just flat out works, okay? That's all that really matters. You're not going to have any holdups with it. Overall, I'm a fan of the Galaxy Nexus S3 design. I really like this screen. I know some people don't like Super AMOLED because of the way that there might be some bluish tints, which you will see when you go like in the browser. When you look at a white background, it'll have a more of a blue hue than you would if you compared it side by side by an LCD. But that's something that you won't notice unless you really hate Super AMOLED. So if you've been looking at the screen all the time, you won't notice because the other colors look really great. It's very bright. And it's just a very nice screen altogether. The size is a little bit bigger than what I would care for. I prefer the Galaxy Nexus. I've always said that I wouldn't go any higher than this, but I could see myself using this day to day. They push the boundaries a little bit. It's not as slim, it's a little wider, but it is thinner in depth, and it's just a nice overall hardware. Like I mentioned, you had the home, back, and menu buttons on the front, but a couple of other things I didn't mention before. You've got a 1.9 megapixel front-facing camera. That's going to be good for video chat. Another thing you notice here, it's got another sensor on the front. That's because it has something in the software that'll track your eyes. So if you're looking at the screen, it'll know not to dim it because you're still reading it. So even though if the screen timeout is set for 30 seconds or something, it'll keep going until it detects you're no longer looking at the screen. Funny aside, it didn't do that good for me unless I was in a bright room. I'm assuming that's because I'm of a darker complexion. So if you're a lemon-colored person like me, you know, that's the reference for all the Better Off Ted people, you might have some issues with that if you're not in a very bright room. But other than that, it's a cool feature to have. On the back, the camera is an 8 megapixel camera. It takes really good. Follow the link in the description below. You'll get some tips on how the camera performs. It's got the flash on the left hand side, and on the right is the speaker. Now, a big pet peeve for me for the Galaxy Nexus is that the speaker was not placed very well, so when it's laying flat, the sound's kind of muffled. I don't have that problem here. It has very loud, distinguishable sound. It's not crystal clear, top of the notch quality. It's good, solid, decent quality, but what's most important to me is the volume, and it comes off very good on here. This has been a hardware review of the Samsung Galaxy S3, available at AT&T, T-Mobile, Sprint, Verizon, C-Spire, and US Cellular. If you enjoyed this video, please feel free to watch our software version of the same phone and subscribe to this channel. We've got a lot of app reviews and device reviews that you might enjoy. This is an Android dedicated channel, and I'm sure you'll find plenty of content. Also, feel free to like and share this video with your friends. In the meantime, until the next time I see you, this is Andrew from Andronica.com. Thanks for watching.